The Emperor of Valhalla has made his move, and it's not a siege, it's an execution. But while Hernard braces for total annihilation, Roman Dmitri is playing an entirely different game. The chapter opens with the ground itself trembling. An ocean of silver and black armor stretches across the horizon, a seemingly endless column of Imperial soldiers marching in perfect formation toward the fortress of Hernard. At the head of this procession, the Emperor's elite royal knights lead the advance, their golden banners snapping violently in the wind. Standing on the battlements, Duke Vito takes one long look at the approaching force and goes quiet. His veteran's eye does the cold math immediately. Their numbers easily push past several 100,000, and at the front, that golden standard confirms the worst. The Royal Knights have been fully mobilized. Beside him, Sanchez breaks into a cold sweat, confirming what the intelligence reports already warned. This is the Emperor's entire army. The picture sharpens quickly. The Emperor of Valhalla has not split his forces to deal with the threat on the northern front. Instead, he has committed everything, a force of over 1 million, to crush the rebellion at Hernard before Roman Dmitri can arrive and complicate the situation. Duke Vito understands the logic immediately. This isn't just a military campaign. This is a preemptive extermination. The Emperor wants the rebel army gone before any unpredictable variables enter the equation. He wants it over fast, and he wants it permanent. The Duke does not flinch outwardly, but the numbers are beyond argument. His own force of 200,000 has no realistic path to surviving a 1 million-strong Imperial assault, let alone holding for the 15 days the rebels originally planned. The grim question forming in his mind isn't whether they can win, it's whether they can survive even a single week. The tense standoff shatters without warning. Massive fireballs arc into the sky from Hernard's siege weapons, leaving trails of scorching light as they crash into the fortress's magical barrier. The ground shakes. The air fills with heat and noise. Duke Vito steadies himself against the shockwaves, watching the defensive barrier absorb blow after blow, and wondering how long it can last. The answer comes quickly. The Emperor hasn't just sent soldiers and siege weapons. Emerging from the Imperial ranks are the vagabond mages, dark-robed practitioners from one of Valhalla's most feared magic towers. Duke Vito can barely believe the Emperor would deploy them here, but there they are. The vagabond mages raise their hands in unison and release a combined assault spell, a catastrophic mixture of lightning, driving rain and a howling wind field that hammers into Hernard's magical barrier with devastating force. Sanchez and Duke Vito are physically shoved back by the pressure. The barrier begins to strain. Duke Vito arrives at a grim conclusion. Under this level of continuous magical bombardment, the fortress will eventually fall. It is only a matter of time. Sensing the defense beginning to buckle, the Imperial Vanguard commander signals his advance. Count Gomez personally orders the ground troops forward. Siege ladders crash onto the fortress walls. The swarm reaches the gates. Duke Vito screams at his men to hold the line because they have no other choice. If Hernard falls, the rebellion ends here. The future they're fighting for dies with it. The scene cuts away from the chaos of Hernard, far away to where the real gambit is unfolding. 6 days into the diversionary operation, Roman Dmitri's forces have arrived at the fortress of Santino. Roman doesn't bring out a siege engine. He doesn't form his troops into attack formations. He simply walks up to the base of the fortress wall alone, states his name clearly, and issues a direct challenge to the Lord of Santino, a one-on-one duel. High on the battlements, Count Santino's face goes pale. The rumors about this man are not rumors. Even among the elite warriors of Valhalla, Roman Dmitri is known as the man who killed Barbossa single-handedly. Santino knows, with absolute certainty, that stepping outside those gates to face Roman in a fair fight would mean his death. He refuses. He shouts down that Roman's intentions are obvious, a quick psychological trick to end the siege early, and that he won't fall for it. He's buying time. He's hoping Roman goes away. Roman doesn't go away. He mocks the Count openly. He calls out the entire empire, asking out loud what has happened to Valhalla's famous pride as a nation of warriors who never back down from a challenge. Then he raises the stakes. He offers to fight Santino and all of his elite guards at the same time, and promises he won't take a single step back from where he's standing. It's a masterclass in psychological pressure, and it works, but not in the way Roman needs. Santino still refuses to open the gates. Roman pauses for a moment, then simply decides to go up himself. He reaches into his cloak, produces a magical scroll, and activates a flight spell. Wings of pure, glowing energy burst from his back, and he launches into the stormy sky, heading straight for the top of the fortress wall. Santino erupts in panic. He orders every archer to fire. A thick storm of arrows fills the air above Roman, but a golden-haired mage at the base of the wall raises her hand and conjures a fire shield that burns through the entire volley before it reaches him. Roman clears the wall and lands. The impact is not subtle. The stone battlements shatter beneath him in an explosion of blue magical energy. When the dust settles, the area around him is wrecked. Cratered stone, and the elite guards who were stationed there already defeated. Before Santino can process what just happened, a gloved hand shoots out of the clearing smoke and closes around his face. Roman lifts the Count off his feet with one arm, fixes him with a cold stare, and gives a single order to the surviving soldiers watching in stunned silence. Contact the Imperial family and tell the Emperor that Count Santino is in danger. Somewhere deep in a quiet Imperial office, a communication crystal begins to glow. Marquis Belelfa, a senior Valhalla official, picks it up calmly and listens as Santino's voice comes through, trembling, barely coherent, describing what has just happened. The mighty fortress has been breached. Roman Dmitri is standing right in front of him. They need reinforcements immediately. There is a long silence on the other end. When Marquis speaks, his tone is not shock. It is not alarm. It is cold, deliberate, and completely unmoved. He tells Santino that Imperial reinforcements will only be dispatched after the rebellion at Hernard has been fully crushed. Santino breaks. He begs, he pleads, he demands to know how he's supposed to stop someone like Roman Dmitri on his own. His desperation bleeds through the crystal, raw and humiliating. The Marquis cuts him off, warning him not to test his patience. And then Santino's voice goes silent. A single, brutal strike ends the transmission. Roman Dmitri has ended the Count's life without hesitation. Through the glowing crystal, Marquis delivers his final verdict in a voice that carries no guilt whatsoever. Santino's death, he says, is a necessary sacrifice for the greater good of Valhalla. The Empire did not abandon him. They offered him up deliberately, and Roman Dmitri simply accepted. 2 fronts, 2 stories, 1 strategy. At Hernard, the rebels are fighting to survive against impossible odds, buying time with everything they have. And at Santino, Roman Dmitri has just demonstrated exactly why the Emperor was so desperate to finish the war before he arrived. The next chapter promises to push both of these battles further. Whether Duke Vito's lines hold and what Roman does next now that Santino is taken, that's where this story goes. If you haven't subscribed yet, now's the time.